go. Oh, that was almost like Thunderbirds. Where go, Thunderbird?
Where go? Where
Absolutely.
go? Okay, so happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Yeah.
And sorry for the people who are listening to replay. This is Thursday, the 17th of March. And it's St. Patrick's Day, and we're celebrating it in style. Cara, gorgeous wig, gorgeous glasses.
Not that this needs any explanation, but I have a sort of sick toddler and was not able to get my shiznit together this morning with hair and even mascara. So this is what you get today. Yes. And it's a perfect day.
Oh, Catherine, thanks so much. Yeah, I got hair chopped. Got my hair chopped off. Yeah, look, well, it's a wee bit asymmetric, I think is the right term.
Right term.
Yeah. And so
should we just
introductions go?
Let's rapping. I'll start rapping. So we do this semi-weekly. It's always Thursday. So it's going to be a silly day. It's always Thursday at 9:30 Pacific time, 5:30 Greenwich time. Not every Thursday because, you know, we do other things. We have lives, and sometimes an hour and a half on Thursdays just doesn't happen. But almost every Thursday we try and make it here and talk about social media and productivity and social media. My name's Cara Chase. I'm a social media strategist, as you can see here. And I help small businesses figure out what they need to be doing on social media to be really effective with their strategies and to not waste a bunch of time. Social media is a black hole. It is a time suck. And if you don't use it very strategically, I mean, really, it's the word, strategically and effectively, you'll get sucked into it, and it's just not a good return on your time. So I teach small businesses how to do that. I work with retainer clients. So I also build websites for clients who need them, because you could have the best social media strategy in the entire world, but if you have a crappy website, it doesn't make any difference. So that's me. Over to you.
That is the point. Okay, so I'm totally distracted by that wig and the glasses. Okay, so I'm Kat with a new hairdo who is drinking Guinness on account of it's St. Patrick's Day. I don't always drink, and bear in mind it's 4:30 in the evening here, so it's all good. It's not day drinking. It's not classed as day drinking.
We wouldn't judge you.
What I do, don't judge me. So yeah, I work with small businesses, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, whatever the heck label you want to slap on yourself, I will work with you. And I look at personality, getting under the hood of your personality to run your business. So everything from, you know, your strengths, your challenges. We won't use the word weaknesses. We don't have weaknesses. We have challenges. How you work, you know, how you lead your business the best way, all of that stuff, brand voice, everything. And a good old dose of boot up the ass, like help for and support in terms of productivity and getting your shit done, because we're spinning so many plates, 23 plates, you know, the whole thing, as well as life happening, and we need to know how to get that done. And that's different for everybody. We all kind of have our own methods and apps and bits of paper and all the rest of the stuff, but it doesn't work if you're not going to get through the list that you've got. So that's kind of what I do. I was going to say in a nutshell, but I rambled on there. It's probably the Guinness.
in a big nutshell.
Absolutely. So that's kind of what we do. And we're here, as Cara said, almost every week. But as she said, you know, life does get in the way sometimes. So we do try and be here weekly. And we just get to rap about social media, productivity, and pull silly faces and laugh a lot.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. Because what's the point if you're not having fun? I mean, really, if I didn't want to have any fun, I would go get another office job somewhere.
Exactly. Exactly.
Or I'd still be working for the government, even more to the point.
Oh God, don't get me started on that. That's statement.
Zero fun.
Yeah, and Catherine, if you can't laugh, Blah bother. There is no point. It was funny because I went to a networking event last week, my idea of hell, but I was putting myself out there into the world, turning on, doing that. Hi, I'm Kat, and trying to be all like grown up. And it's just like, it's men in suits. It's all men in suits doing this networking thing. I'm like, oh God, give me strength, and it's funny because there's a girl who I've just kind of connected with on LinkedIn of all places, and she has the antidote. She just said, look, I'm just going to do this women's networking group. It doesn't cost you anything to come. It's not like $30 lunches and sit down and let's all hand out our business cards. It's like, women, let's get together, even over a drink, and just have a chat and share business ideas and whatever. And I'm like, I'm totally in on that. Totally counting in. So yeah, I can cope with that kind of networking, but all the other stuff, that's why I drink. I'm convinced why I drink. I'm giving a really bad
the whole like traditional networking thing where people hand out their cards and they do the whole like, what's your ideal client? How could I help you? When really it's like, that's just a very thin veneer of bullshit over how could you help me? Like, I don't, and it's like, I just don't want to do, it's too much adulting for me. It's too much of the, like,
it's adulting and peopling. And yeah, hey, Dado, if you joined us, welcome. There's a wee bit of a St. Patrick's Day flavour to our blabs. Just a wee tiny bit. And for those who are listening, I have a Scottish accent, not an Irish accent. I can put on a really good Irish accent because a lot of my family are Irish, but I'm not going to do that because I just insult everybody.
Yes, Catherine. Networking has always been about relationships, but somewhere people tried to make it more complicated. And it's because of how many people out there are inauthentic and selfish, and they try to make it about themselves, and they try and take advantage, and they just don't, Mr. Wonderful. Hello, nice to see you. They just don't do it for its, intended purposes. So yeah, that's how networking has gotten screwed up and how it's now so unenjoyable for people like Kat and I that have a hard time peopling in person because we have very, very finely tuned bullshit radars. So it's really, really hard to put a smile on your face when you're like, you're just not, no, thank you. This card will be going in the trash as soon as I walk out the door.
Yeah, and you just get, everybody's just like thrusting their business cards at you, and oh my God, it's so draining when in fact you know that your businesses don't connect with one another, or you have no intention of going and recommending that person because you've got this weird vibe of them, and I'm sure they feel the same way about me. I mean, anybody that rocks up and says, hi, I'm Kat and my business is called The Straight Talking Ginger, it's kind of Marmite, you have to. Some people go, okay, cool. Other people are like, okay, that was lovely, cheerio,
Yeah.
And swift exit.
I never give off the weird vibe, ever.
Oh dear. So yeah, what were we going to talk about today? So yeah, we always say that we have the same topic for consistency. Can you see out your glasses?
Kind of.
So yeah, so we always talk about the same stuff, like same topic, but we always come up with something new. So having had our habitual little chat before we come on air, we decided that today we were going to talk about sales funnels. Boo, what a crappy term.
But actually, it's really interesting to talk about segueing from networking and getting a pile of business cards to sales funnels, because it's not the same thing. And I think a lot of people really don't realize that. Yeah. I cannot tell you how many times I have attended some sort of networking event, give people my card, and then somehow I end up on their email list. And I'm like, no. First of all, it's illegal. Like technically it's illegal.
Yeah.
But sales funnels are really, really tricky. And Kat and I are actually educating ourselves and learning more about this as we go along, because both of us are kind of transitioning from being more client-based to being more product-based, as in coaching and teaching and all of that. So, you know, that requires some sort of marketing funnel. And so, as we've always said, we're not the grand poobah of experts. Amy Jo, hi, nice to see you, sweetheart. Thank you very much. It was, you know, it was half necessitated by a rough morning with a toddler and half because of the day. So it just worked out for everyone. Shit, what was I talking about?
That's okay. I've got your back. I've got your back. So we were saying that, you know, the funnel process, the way we do our blabs is we always base it on the real life stuff rather than the theory of here's the sales funnel, here's what you do. It's actually, we go through the process and we educate ourselves. And as Cara rightly said, we're transitioning between that client facing in the real world, as I always call it, to more of that online and trying to make sure that you attract the right tribe. Right. You're giving people the right message. And when they want to come and join your lovely tribe or clan, as I like to call it here in Scotland, they understand what they're signing up for. Then you're not going to trash their email box. Right. Because spam.
They want to be there.
Oh my God. Spam is just like, it's crap. It's just crap.
There it is.
There it is. So honestly, and it just makes people like go, turn off, delete, unsubscribe, whatever. And it's trying to make your sales funnel a bit more unique, a bit more of your personality injected into it. Not buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, but more of a let's build a relationship, let's have a chat. Because as Cara said, that's what we do in networking. Well, that's what we attempt to do in networking in the real world, rather than having the business cards shoved at you left, right and centre. And in the online world, people don't know you. They haven't had that chance to meet you and get face to face. So it's how you build your sales funnel.
Yeah. Which is why social media is so dang important. Because it gives you the chance to show people your personality, how you like to work, what value you provide to them. Because as we all should know at this point, social is about providing value to people in your audience, not sell, sell, sell. So social media, from my perspective, social media is kind of almost even above the sales funnel, because social media is the World Wide Web, you know, it's the interwebs, it's anybody that could possibly come across your content, whether it's whatever platform, whether you're paying for ads, you know, whatever it is. So it's really important when you're doing your social media posts or, you know, video ads, whatever it is that you're doing, to show that brand voice and to show that personality. Because like you said, Kat, you want to attract the people that identify with you and dig what you're putting down and, you know, really actually truly want to get emails from you. You know, you could have an email list of 10,000 people. If it's all like people that just aren't interested, what's the point? What's the point? So social media, again, it's kind of almost a pre-sales funnel space. And then you get into somebody comes on your website, or they sign up for your free course, or they, you know, do your free webinar, whatever it is. And Kat and I are learning from Mariah Cause, who is amazing, how to do those funnels and how to build them effectively and make sure that we're not letting anybody leak out that could really benefit from what we're offering.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because I've just been kind of looking at our training this week, and just so you know, none of it, we're not affiliated with Mariah. It's just we're very much about that, you know, rising tide floats many boats. And if there's other amazing women out there doing great things, then we're happy to kind of plug them for free. Because Mariah, her training is just straight to the point. There's no fluff, there's no bullshit. And you just
identify with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Our kind of characters identify with that. Stop faffing around with all the fluff about, you know, all those webinars where people, it's self-indulgent, you know, talking about yourself for 20 minutes. You know, just get to the value part of it. But what I thought was really interesting is we've talked before about brand voice on here, and when I've been kind of rejigging my sales funnel because I'm going through the training, my brand voice wasn't even in there, and I hadn't really considered it before. And actually, it's so that people are aligned with you every step of the way, so that you're not selling them empty promises or giving them false expectations. It's being who you are, and then if people want to stay in that tribe, clan, whatever you want to call it, then they're there for the right reasons and they want to hear from you, rather than you forcing, which is what a lot of people do, is they force their sales funnel and all the emails into their inbox, and people are like, oh God, you again? Delete, unsubscribe, whatever. And that's not what you're wanting to achieve. You wouldn't want to do that in the real world. That's like going around and playing Chapdoor Runaway. Do you know? You want to actually build relationships with people. And, you know, I mean, for instance, the amazing Catherine, who comes on here every week, despite our craziness. I mean, I know, like, props to you. I can't even give you props, Catherine, you know. But that's the thing, you know. Yeah, that's really, you know, people like that who are like, do you know what, you put a smile on my face, whatever. Right. Cara doesn't always wear a green wig and glasses, to be fair. But actually, do you know, this is what it's about. It's about having a bit of fun, being yourself, being something that, I hate this word, authentic, but that's what it's all about. And that's really what we're kind of looking at in terms of sales funnel. Not the theory of it, but actually what is it like to put one together properly, if you like. Sorry.
Well, and the thing that I've learned, which I think is something that every entrepreneur goes through in the beginning, is the whole transition from, oh my God, somebody unsubscribed from my email list, they don't like me, to thank you for giving space to somebody else, because I pay for every single email address that's on my list. I'm paying for it. So if you don't want to be here, that's great. No offense taken. Good luck to you. But now that frees it up for somebody else who would actually buy my product. So going from...
That's so important. It's so important, Hannah, sorry, energetically as well, because if you're hanging on to those people who shouldn't be on your list, as you say, you're paying for them, number one. But number two, you're shutting down your space. I don't want to get all woo-woo on people, but it is energetically taking up that space where you could be attracting in 10 fantastic people who love what you do, rather than having on that one person. But you do, it's hard at first. You take it personally when somebody unsubscribes. You're like, oh, how dare you?
What did I do?
Absolutely. So yeah, create space. It's all good.
Yeah. And, you know, going back to the building relationships, I do this thing. There's a presentation that I give, and it works really well in person because it's all about communication on social media. And it's specifically for brands and businesses. And one of the things that I do is I call somebody up from the audience and tell them to just play along, of course. And I do this whole like, hey, how are you? It's so good to see you. I haven't talked to you in 10 years. How are your kids? I love seeing pictures of your baby. Do you want to buy my stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes people so uncomfortable. Yeah. And it is such the perfect illustration of why the F would you ever do that if you wouldn't do it in person?
Yeah.
And so many brands and businesses forget all of that. They purely see social media as another avenue to market their stuff, whatever it is, instead of building those relationships. Are we just selling stuff to it? Totally, right, E-boy? It's like, it's just astounding to me. And the funny thing is I'm so conscious of not being like that. I'll promote my blog posts. You know, if I have an offering or something I'm giving away or something that I'm selling, you know, I will promote it. It's not that I don't, but I try and stick to the 80-20 rule of sharing valuable free stuff, whether it's my own or curated content from sources that I think are super awesome. But if people want to be in my funnel, you know, I want it to be because they like everything else that I'm talking about and everything else that I like to involve in my business, not just whatever the product is. Of course, that's the end goal, but people forget the social part of social media. So, and Kat and I were talking before we got on. I have this not to plug, but I have this amazing email challenge that I'm getting ready to publish on Monday. And I realized I have not one single pitch in my series of emails for what my product is. It is literally a series of emails of here is all of this amazing information and how to. And so I almost have to remind myself to go to the other side of I sell too much, of not selling too much, and remembering that I really need to put my product in there somewhere, because that's how you stay in business, right?
Yeah. So what we're not saying is you don't sell. Of course you sell. If you don't sell, then you've got a really expensive hobby.
Right.
You know, so you need to sell, but what we're saying is you don't rock up after seeing somebody. It's happened to me as well, Cara. Facebook, somebody you haven't spoken to for years, they connect with you, and then before you know it, it's like, oh, by the way, I'm doing this, and could you come and do this? And you're like, no, that's not a relationship. That's you seeing me and going, oh, I'm just going to catch as many people as I know as possible. Yeah. So we're not saying that you don't sell, but what we're going through, for those who didn't hear it at the beginning, we're going through some training ourselves at the moment in terms of building our own sales funnel. And there has to be pitches in there. There's a difference between a soft pitch and a hard pitch, but there's also a difference between offering value for people and educating people. And we've talked about this at length as well, that some of what you offer, you need to educate people first. I get through that all the time because what I do is quite different from what people normally see in the online space, certainly, in terms of profiling people. I'm like, what are you talking about? How's that going to benefit?
What? Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what? I still don't think Cara knows what I do, but she's my friend, and that's okay.
Kind of do.
She didn't even deny it. She's hiding behind those glasses.
I know.
But you have to educate people. So we're not saying you're not selling at all, but what we're saying is it's how you sell. And if you're doing liken it to that networking meeting that I was talking about, when you walk in that room, people are just like trying to thrust the business cards at you, whereas I always come at it from a completely different point of view. And if I'm chatting to somebody, I'll say, what is it? Why do you love what you do? And they're totally like, oh, right, okay. So then they come at it from a completely different angle, and you're not just getting the, oh, what do you do? And what do you do? And then there's this awkward space of, right, we now have nothing to talk about because we have nothing in common.
Right.
And the default position is then to get into sales talk. And that's not what you want to do. You want to build rapport with people, and it's the same, if not more important, on social media, because people don't get to meet you. I mean, this is why Cara and I do a Blab. It's our antidote to all that. Let's go for a coffee for 3 hours and chat about nonsense. This is our free time, giving up an hour and a half, most weeks, to say, come and chat, come and ask questions, whatever you want. Here's what we're learning this week as MD in the same boat. And that's kind of what it's about. It's so people know us now. So as I say, even though Cara's dressed the way she is and I'm drinking Guinness live on air most of the time, people are still coming back.
Right. Right. Amazingly enough. Well, and I think that, most people that offer services go through that as well, where they realize, all of this time that I'm spending meeting people for coffee, who want to pick my brain about all the knowledge that I have in here that people are supposed to pay me for, is a huge waste of my time. And it's not really like people that want what you offer and your expertise for free over the guise of coffee are not people you want in your sales funnel. Right?
Exactly.
So, they might be great as far as, and there are people that I meet for coffee, and it's in no way, shape, or form of picking your brain. We meet every once in a while because we click on some other level and we enjoy talking about our industries and whatever it is that's going on. And it really has nothing to do with, oh, I'd love to talk to you more about what I should do with my Facebook page. I don't really want to talk to you about it because people pay me for that. Yeah. But so anyway, it's you've got to realize that not everybody is your client. It comes back to that foundational understanding of not everybody's your client. It's okay if people aren't on your email list, because it means that they're probably not going to buy from you anyway. So it frees up space. Amy Jo, like you said, it's all about creating space and creating the room for somebody awesome to come along. But anyway, yeah, funnels are tricky, and there's so many moving pieces. And one of the things that Kat and I were chatting about with the course that we're doing is that the way she breaks it down is so simple.
God, I know. It's so easy. You're like, why did I not think of that? Yeah, it's brilliant.
And I am a chronic overthinker. I am and I get mired down in the details, and it's that there's a phrase for it, but it's where you can't make a decision and you just get stuck.
It's analysis paralysis.
No, thank you. Analysis paralysis. Totally me, because I don't want to screw it up. That's the problem. I don't want to screw it up, and I have to remind myself, okay, done is better than perfect, but there's got to be a simpler way to do it. And sometimes it's literally just finding the right course to say, this is exactly how you do it, step by step. And that's exactly what I needed. And Kat, I think it's what, you needed too. But yes.
Yeah. And that's the ironic thing. We're both about the kind of no fluff element, but yet when it comes to our own stuff, we just get, like anybody else, get bogged down in the details sometimes. And details are good. That's because our backgrounds are very research driven, very evidence driven. So we're always looking for that other little nugget. Oh, if I just get that next.
What do we not know? What do I not know?
Need to know everything. But actually, we know this. So the rational brain, the rational bit of our brain knows that doesn't work in business, and that we know that, it doesn't need to be perfect, but we still default into that position sometimes when the overwhelm kicks in. So course has been brilliant, just to go, this is what you do. And the thing is, that's how we teach. That's how we both teach. This is what you do. Here is step 1, here is step 2, here is step 3, and this is what you do at the end to summarize it. And we're good at doing that for other people, but when it comes to ourselves getting that stuff together, you just want to include everything, and then what you don't want is the other people to be overwhelmed. So sales funnels, exact same thing. You want to get your point across, make sure that you're on message, and because you've asked somebody to give you their very precious email address, because it's a precious commodity, let's face it, and you don't want to abuse it like some people do, and make sure that they're with you every step of the way, and you're speaking to them, and you're not just churning out stuff. Because I'm getting back through my sales funnel, and I was saying to Cara before I came on air, I couldn't actually believe that it was me that wrote the first sales funnel.
Things change. You get better. You get better and better and better.
You do, but I think it just shows you as well that it's always good to review your business and never just assume something because it's working okay, that's the best it can be. It can always be better, or as you say, things change in your business, and you need to step it up a bit. So that's what we're going through at the moment.
Yeah. And little things like, I do my custom graphics for every blog post that I do, on my social media, whatever. And that's changed even in the last year that I've been in business. That's been tweaked and whatever, because I've just gotten better at it, and I'm more clear at what's good design and what needs to be tweaked. But the other thing that I want to talk about, which is actually really important because I am all about the analysis, is I've realized, excuse me, let me adjust here.
Adjust your spectacles.
I have realized that I need to do some work, actually, not just in my email funnels, but on my website, because I have my analytics set up, and I know where I'm getting my bounces, and I know where I'm losing people out of that sales funnel. People go and read my blog, and then they leave.
Yeah.
So, which is great. People are coming to read my blog, and I churn out blogs, and really just saturated blogs that are they have so much in them. But people read the blog, they share it, they, whatever, and then they leave. And that's only half of what I want them to do. Right. Yep. So paying attention to those things, whether it's your analytics, depending on what platform you're using. I use Squarespace. Obviously, a ton of people use WordPress. More and more people are using Squarespace from what I'm seeing. But adjusting those things so that you are leading people through your website in an effective way, instead of having a website that's a repository for all this information with no clear plan or funnel for where you want people to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once you get, so social media is kind of like the pre-funnel. Once you get them to a property that you own, which is either your email list or your website, you really got to think critically about taking their hand very gently and nicely with your own personality, leading them exactly where you want them to go. It is a very active, it's an active process on your part.
Yeah.
And that is something that I definitely, I'm learning how to do it better. I'm for sure. So, but don't forget.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because I kind of tweaked my, well, I'm constantly tweaking my website, but then that's that perfectionist thing again. Can't help myself. But yeah, so I created a little quiz a while back, and it was the best thing I ever did. But the key to it was exactly as you say, Cara. It was like taking people by the hand. So I got somebody to critically look at even just my landing page again. And they came in and they went, "You're asking them to do 2 or 3 things." And I'm like, well, that's not like a huge amount. And bearing in mind, you know, I kind of teach psychology of selling as well. So sometimes you're blindsided by your own stuff because you're so used to seeing it. And it's good to get that critical kind of eye from somebody else. And see, just making a change of 1 button or like 3 buttons, but they all go to the same place, and it says start here. It was like a revelation. People went, start here. Do this, share this, do this now. And people then actually, they just want to be told what to do, because their time is short, their attention span is short, as we know. We all skim through our mobile phones and our feeds and everything else. So you need to capture that attention. Yeah, so you need to make it easy for people. What do you want me to do on here? If I just to read your stuff, or do you want me to take action? And that was the simple tweak I made. It was just that start saying the words. I tried out different words, and some words just didn't work, and it was just start here.
Yeah.
People were like,
and that's exactly what I'm going to incorporate into my website as well. But crap, it's gone. The thought is gone. Hold on. I'll get it back. Nope.
Must have been a lie.
It was really good too.
It'll come back. If it's that good, it will come back. I trust you.
Websites. Here. Oh, got it. So I don't know exactly what the statistic is, but it is a really poignant fact that on social media, telling people to retweet, actually saying please retweet, instead of hoping they'll come to the realization and retweet it on their own, gets, I don't know what the stat is, so I don't want to pull something out of my ass, but it's like 10 times more likely. I mean, it's some huge difference in how much more likely someone is to do something on your post or your tweet or whatever it is if you tell them what to do. But at the same time, just like on the website for social media, you can only ask them to do one thing.
Yeah.
The contests, so I was with a social media agency before I started my own business, and we came up with and created contests for clients all the time. And the ones where it was like, do this, then go do this, then go do this, and then you'll be eligible to win. I mean, they never did well. But when it was simply one thing, way more engagement, way more entries, way more, whatever. People will only do one thing because they're in the middle of scrolling, and getting them to stop scrolling is the first step. Then making it, and that's pretty visuals. That is Like you've got to have some sort of either a cool video or a cool graphic or whatever. It's not your paragraph text. That's not going to make anybody stop. And then asking them to do one thing and making it interesting and showing them why that's valuable for them. That's the name of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, because people just they don't have time, so that you just have to make it super simple. Even lead pages, MD who uses lead pages, they changed that recently as well, so that if you had opted into somebody's thing with a lead page on a previous occasion, the next time it just pre-populates your information. Whereas before you had to keep that. Whereas if it's already pre-populated, people are only having to click. They're not having to type in their email address and then feel as if they're hearing that information again. They're just like, oh, there's my name. Click.
Yeah.
And it speaks people through that sales funnel. Again, it's part of that sales funnel process of making it like so easy, because whilst you want people to press buttons at certain points, because there's a psychology of, if I do this one thing for you, then I'm prepared to do something else, and I'm prepared to do something else. So that's the kind of psychology behind getting people to click buttons and to click through. But at the same time, you don't want to make it too crazy and overwhelming that they just get to the last bit and they're like, oh, do you know what? I can't be bothered with this anymore. Because I've had a couple of things recently, and I can't think who they were from, which is probably a good thing, so I wouldn't name and shame them. But yeah, it's like, do this, and then once you've done that, you need to go to this page, and you need to do this, and then could you just share that on social media? But we haven't given you any buttons for that. Just go and paste this. And you're like, no,
fuck off.
Life's too short. I've got 1,000,001 things to do, and that.
You know what is interesting? So Instagram it can be a coy platform. It can be if you're not in like the typical Instagram, industry, like a photographer, whatever. And people keep talking about, and this has been the case for the last couple of years, the whole Instagram loop giveaway thing. And people are so hot to trot on it, and everybody, pitches in, and we'll get all these followers. And it's what happens is, because Kat, I know you're kind of an Instagram novice, but say you have a set amount of people, we'll just say 10. You have 10 people participating in the Instagram challenge, and it's to give away, say it's like $100 gift card or whatever it is. Everybody posts at the same time with the handles of everybody in the loop. So if you see one person come across your feed that is participating in this, it'll say, here's the loop, here's the giveaway, go follow this person next. So you have to click on their handle, go to the same picture, so everybody has the same picture on their feed with the same whatever, and the next person in the loop. Okay, so you have to go through this loop and like the picture and follow the person, and then go to the next one, and like the picture and follow the person, and then go to the next one. And the whole point for the brands is to get a lot more followers and more exposure by maximizing, everybody's audience. Mm-hmm. The problem is, every time I have participated in one of these, which has purely been because the giveaway was interesting to me, or it would be something that I would want to win, it's like 30 freaking people. And I get halfway through and I'm like, well, now I can't turn back. Now I'm committed, because I don't want to have wasted this last 10 minutes of click, follow, going through and going through and going through. But the last one that I did, I was like, I will never do one of these again.
Yeah,
I will never do one of these.
It just sounds annoying more than anything. I'd be annoyed with it, And it's funny because, you're right. I'm new to Instagram, so I don't know about these things yet. But yeah, it sounds like a whole load of hassle to me.
Well, and then the problem is, then you follow all these people that do all of these giveaways. So now they're cluttering up your feed with all these giveaway posts. And the cool thing is afterwards, a couple weeks down the line, it'll come across my feed and I'm like, oh, that was one of those people from that giveaway, unfollow. And what people don't realize is, you're probably only retaining maybe 50% if you're lucky. So of the new followers. So are you getting more by doing that? Yeah, but you're also getting the reputation of somebody that's their marketing tactic. Am I ever going to go on one of those people's sites and see what they're selling or see what they're buying? No. So is that really a sales funnel? No, it's kind of a skeezy way to gain vanity metrics.
It is
not a
vanity. Exactly what I was going to say. Vanity measures, vanity metrics. It feels like that, and I can understand the temptation to, as you say, if there's a giveaway and you're interested in it, then I can understand. But when it's come to 30 people, and as you say, the dangerous thing is the reputation about that, to damage that, and you don't want that reputation, especially on these platforms, especially when that's your business as well.
Right.
And I suppose Instagram for me is just this kind of new beast that I'm trying to get my head around, and people seem to get really caught up about the whole vanity measures and how many follows, and I still get blasted just as a newbie about, you know, come and follow this page and you can buy so many followers. I'm like, well, why
would you do that?
Yeah, I just
none of those people are going to be in your funnel.
My tiny brain can't cope with that, because ultimately you're wanting to build a following of people who get what you do, connect with what you do, and hopefully, again, part of sales funnel, that ultimately down the line they might buy from you because they trust you, that you're an authentic person and you're reliable and what you put out is a bit of fun or good value or whatever else. So why would you buy a whole load of followers who are not going to buy your stuff anyway? That to me is not a good return on investment, regardless of how much you've spent. You know, it could be a few dollars, it could be $50. I don't get it.
And to me, it's so obvious, and I think it is to most people, because we're all getting very social media savvy. You know, if somebody has 10,000 followers, but their Instagram picture only has like 2 or 3 comments on it, it's like, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't, whatever. So if you're going to do that, it's obvious, and why, you know, and then you get the whole reputation and whatever. So yeah,
but just as we were kind of saying, you know, it's so important that, you know, if it's part of your brand in that sales funnel environment, because that's really ultimately why you're doing it. I mean, we've got social media for fun as well, but primarily it's all linked back to your business. So you want to put out something that's quite consistent, so that you're driving people back to the same place. And again, once they get on your website from wherever they've come from, they're just going through a process, and you're selling to them, because then you can have a better conversation with them. But that's the starting point. And if you get that wrong, you're leaving money on the table if you're not putting out your brand voice and you're not being consistent. And you touched on the images. I think we both, when I look back at some of the images I've made in the past and now what I put out, it's funny because you can see how the brand evolves. You know, you can see kind of, I'm not ashamed of where it was, but it's funny just to watch the kind of like it growing up almost, you know, oh right, this is the brand as it looks today, and people start to click onto the fact that, oh right, okay, when they see a certain branded image, colour or whatever else, that's cat. And that kind of works for me as well.
To jump back a little bit to tie in the loop giveaways with target audience, I've actually been approached a couple times for, hey, do you want to participate in some Instagram loop giveaway or whatever? And my first question back to them is always, who's your target audience? Because I'm not going to participate if they don't have the same audience that I do that would be interested in what I offer. So if somebody wants to do a loop giveaway and their audience is do-it-yourself scrapbooking, planner, crafter type stuff, that's not the audience that interests me. So why would I do it? But people do this whole, let's just do a giveaway. Let's just get more followers. And 2 or 3 times I've been approached for that. And 2 of the 3 people, when I asked them, who's your target audience, never even responded to me. I'm like, so.
Too many questions.
That answers my question right there. So yeah, you've got to be really strategic and really responsible with who you're letting into or, you know, seeking out to get into your funnel. And there's just so many ways and methods that happens now with the digital world and social media and our websites and whatever. You've got to constantly be fine-tuning, tending the garden, so to speak. So yeah.
Yeah, fine tuning really good way to put it. Actually, it's just understanding what the changes are and constantly asking yourself, who am I selling to? You know, who do I need to speak to? Who do I want to listen to? Probably is a more important thing to think about, because that's really what it's about. It's social media listening, isn't it? To build a relationship with the people that are out there and making sure that you're giving them value, being of service, however you want to put it, rather than, here's like a whole big giveaway and I have no idea who I'm targeting. Do you know?
But, oh yay, that got me 500 new followers, and after 2 weeks it's really only like 200 new followers, and they're not going to buy from me. I'm like, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah. And it's funny because Instagram, being a newbie on Instagram in particular, reminds me of being a newbie on Twitter, where people only followed, the people that followed you at the start were the people who were trying to sell stuff to you straight away. And then if you didn't follow them back, you were dumped unceremoniously, kicked off their list within 2 days. And you're like, and of course, as a newbie, you're like, but you just followed me. Now you've unfollowed me. I don't really understand. What is happening here?
Here's what people do that's tricky that I think is super shady, and I will actually block them if they start doing this to me. They'll follow and unfollow repetitively. So, because they're trying to get me to notice them. So, like, they'll follow me and I'll see it come up on my Instagram, so-and-so followed you. And I'll click on their profile, but if it doesn't have anything to do with anything, like, thanks for following me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I want to follow you. And so they'll unfollow me, and then a couple weeks later they'll follow me again, because they're basically doing the equivalent of, hi, follow me. And after they do that a couple times, I will actually block them, because I don't play that game at all. If I want to follow you, it's because I'm interested in you and your product. I will like people's pictures all day long. Like, I'll go through and see who's liked my pictures. I'll go on their profile, and if I see something I like, I'll return the favor. But following is like a whole different level of letting them into your feed and your time and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, it is.
Yeah, you kind of forget that. That's what you're doing. You're letting them into your feeds. And it's probably just something that I need to learn, because I haven't really given it too much thought, if I'm honest. I've been dabbling in Instagram and posting some stuff at different times of day just to see what happens. It's more like a test thing. I like to test things, and then make a decision on whether I'm going to bother with it. And that's the kind of process I'm going through at the moment with it. But yeah, it's all the people. I'm just like, oh God, no, I don't want to buy followers. Like, stop promoting that shit.
Yeah,
I just did it. Who's falling for this spammy nonsense? Somebody must be, because it's not me. Yeah. And that's a rubbish sales funnel, but they seem to work. I don't know why, but some people just seem to be totally switched on by that. I personally,
I still get eyeballs. Sorry, say again.
I said I personally wouge my eyeballs out when I see that in my feed.
Yeah. And I still get questions from prospective clients about how to, they hire me or they want to talk to me, and they're like, so I'm going to have like 10,000 Facebook fans by next week, right? It's like, nope, that's not how it works. They'll ask me questions like, should I buy followers? And, and honestly, like, they're valid questions, because they're things that they have heard about. They're coming to me because they realize they're not the expert and they need help. And I'm there to answer their questions, and I'm there to educate them and enlighten them as to why they shouldn't do that. But it's still very much out there as an option or things that people do. And it's crazy to me, because it seems so obvious as to why you shouldn't do that. And every social media expert in the industry, like the real, Peg Fitzpatrick, all the people that like are at that, top level, will tell you, don't do it. Don't ever, 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 ever buy followers. And it's because it just doesn't do you any good in the long run. And when you want sales for your business, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know any other way to say it.
But I think you're right. It's because people come into the space and they maybe want to start an online business, and that's the information that they seem to find first. So then, as you say, it's there as an option for people. And because they don't know or they haven't got that kind of other education to say that that's not going to help you in the long run, then I can see why it's a tempting offer. It's quick, the followers, it looks good. Yeah, very, very tempting. But I think there's a lot of that stuff in the online world. It's about people who claim to be gurus. I hate that word as well, gurus and all that kind of stuff. When there's absolutely no kind of substance to back it up per se. And it's really hard to find out. That's why, again, back to us doing a blab, that's why hopefully you're back to it again to say, look, we're here every week. This is who we are. We're not kind of hiding behind a website or, you know, those pictures, you know, those. Yeah, I was going to say, but you know those pictures of like women and they're standing and their hair's blowing in the winds and all that, and they've got like a glass of champagne and it's like, learn how to do my six-figure funnel. Oh, go fuck yourself. Really?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, A, I don't want to look like that. B, you're not like who, like, yeah, it's just like not my thing. But it annoys me that there's a whole host of that at the moment, swimming around at the moment, and people have that feeling of, oh my God, I can be like you if I follow you. And it doesn't work like that. And I feel sorry for people who've spent a lot of money on those particular things. Or
you talk quite often, which I love, about the whole your own blueprint thing. And it's not only your own blueprint with how you conduct and do your business from the admin, you know, behind the scenes stuff, from scheduling to productivity to all of that. But it's also your own blueprint as far as your own funnel and your own website and your own brand voice and your own, like, it's great to learn from people like the course that we're doing. It's great to learn from people, but I'm very clear on, well, I'm not going to copy everything. She's not me. I'm not her. I want to do it my way, even though I'm going to follow her steps and her framework.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's exactly it. You know, we're kind of very picky about who we choose to spend our hard-earned pennies on.
Very much
there's
so.
that a wee bit of savvy about, right, who is the leader in the industry for that particular thing. There's other people selling, you know, training on how to do sales funnels, but it doesn't connect with me. It doesn't speak to me. And that's what attracts you to people. So when you start to do that and you check out, and I'm not saying that everybody needs qualifications. I'm not in a, it's good to see people's experience or where they've come from or what they do or what they've done in the past. But I'm more interested in the results that they're getting, the kind of real life results, not the fakery or the scarcity and all that kind of shenanigans. But you're right, I always talk about this personal blueprint, and it's woven right through your whole business. It's the golden thread, because you can't be somebody you're not. You can do it for a wee while, but you'll burn out. You will burn right out if you're trying to be somebody you're not. And I'll admit, the reason I know this as well is because when I started out doing my business and doing a sales funnel and, you know, doing that email newsletter or campaign or whatever the heck it was, I was totally flattening down my own brand voice because I didn't want to offend anybody.
Right.
Again,
you're afraid you're a little too much for people, and it's like,
oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's like, oh, you know, you swear too much, I'm not listening. You're like, oh God, my mother's going to kill me, you know. And as soon as I changed that and went, actually, that's not me being me, and it feels good to write in your own voice, and then that's what attracts people. And you're right, it then leads into everything you do in your business, everything, you know, from how you run your day, when you put your wig on, all that stuff. It's so fun. You know, it's so funny because the light is just shining on you. It's like the pot of gold. You will reach the pot of gold.
Bring that pot of gold right over here.
Exactly. No, hit it with me.
right. Yes.
But yeah, that's all it is. It's just be yourself. Be yourself and don't apologise for it. As I say, like, if folk don't get it, then tough cookie. Tough blanket cookie. But I think you should just wear that wig now.
All the time? It's kind of starting to hurt my head a little bit.
Okay, well, you can take it off. You can derobe.
I can't, actually. I can't with with the state of.
Did you take your glasses off?
No. No.
It's one of those moments.
Yeah, sick toddler means I'm not my spring fresh self. That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Blueprint. Brand voice. Yeah. So talking about like just stepping into your brand voice and owning it. What?
Just before you carry on. Bye, Catherine. Enjoy your lunch. It was lovely to see you again. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
Sorry.
No. Thank you. Stepping into your brand voice and just owning it. And for me, it wasn't a process that I went through with my own business. It was the process of parting ways with my previous job because they literally were like, you're too black and white and you're too focused and you're too this and whatever. And it was so funny to me. And it was the catalyst I needed for, you know what? Yes, I am. And I'm so okay with that. And so many other people are okay with that. Yeah, I am. And I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna go be me and do my own thing. So I was self-aware enough to have been okay with that from the get-go with my business because of the situation that had happened previously. But it is so important to understand who you are and what you're comfortable with, because when I am speaking the way that I speak and interacting with people, whether it's on social or in Blab or in person or whatever, they get to know me that much quicker.
You're being yourself.
Yeah.
You're not trying to be all corporate-y, sooty person. Well, that's not who you are. That might work for some people if that's their thing and that's their strength, and that's okay. Yeah. That's not who you are. That would be like ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And it's funny because in going back to kind of situation recently, I was speaking to somebody who was talking about quite a large organization who will remain nameless, and they're going through quite a lot of big leadership changes. And he was talking about it, and he said, "Oh yeah, they're trying to make the sales guy be more about the numbers, and trying to get the numbers guy who likes to sit in a cubicle be more salesy." And I'm like, why are they doing that? Why are they doing that? Because that's the old way of doing things. That's it. Oh, you're not so good at that, so let's concentrate on your weakness. And then all that happens is everybody feels like crap. Again, there's that word. They just feel rotten because then they're like, I hate my job. They're trying to make me get sell to people, and I'm a blatant introvert. Why are they making me do that? I don't understand. Yeah, so it's exactly that. But when you allow people to be who they are, because I saw a photograph of you, I think it was on Instagram, doing your talk with your biker's boots on and stuff, and that's you. Could you imagine? I mean, I've done it as well. I turn up to I still deal with a lot of corporates and directors in my real world job part of it, as I always call it. But I still turn up like that. I still turn up with my boots on and my leather jacket, because that's who I am. I'm like, this is who you've asked to come in. I'm not suddenly going to go and put on like a beige suit.
I've done enough of wearing suits.
Yeah, exactly.
Forever.
Exactly. It's like, no, that's over. That's not who I am. It's not part of my brand. And actually, if I was to go in even dressed like that, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't be myself, and they wouldn't get the best experience. Whereas when I go in and I'm just myself, I'm not saying I'm casual, like really casual when I do those things. You still look smart, but there's a way of looking smart, but in your own way, and that's what works for me. Whereas, if suits work for you, then that's okay. But trying to make some people something they're not, and this is just classic big organisation shenanigans of, we need to bring in leadership people and make everybody wonderful at everything. No, actually, you're missing the point. You've got great people on your bus. Let them sit in the seat.
When I my previous career in government, there were several different types of investigative areas, and the habit of the government for this agency is to move people around. So you'd spend a few years doing one type of investigation and get really, really good at it. And then they go, oh, no, now you're going over here. It's like, what? What?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's, government and big corporate are really two sides of the same coin, truly, in inefficiency and lack of productivity and lack of understanding anything.
Well, you're a number.
Yeah.
You're a number, you're not a human. Yeah. And they also believe that that's part of your development plan. God. You're like, no, stop it.
I am fully developed and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I probably mentioned previously, there was one, again, that previous life, and I was going through my kind of yearly annual appraisal. And my boss at the time actually wrote, Kat has learned to hod her wheesht. Now, hod your wheesht means to shut your mouth, right? And I was like, because I had been, to be fair, the situation was we were having a bit of a directors meeting, head of department meeting, and everybody was sitting very professional, and I'm doing this at the table. What are we doing? What's happening? That's normally like my facial expression is like, oh no, we're not doing, no, that's not happening, no.
I can't hide it either. Yeah.
This kind of stuff. Yeah, I managed to sit on my hands and not be as animated, and that's what was written in my appraisal. Kat has learned to hod her wheesht. I'm like that. I need to leave now.
Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of know. I don't fit in here. I don't fit the demographic of suits, man, middle-aged.
Yeah.
I need to be away and cut my hair at a silly angle and
yeah. What I always hated was the guys who wanted to stay at work and out in the field as long as possible because they didn't want to go home. And I'm like, but I do want to go home. I'm not in your bad marriage. I don't have your asshole kids. Yeah. I do want to go home. Yeah. Excuse me. Apologies.
No, that makes me laugh. It's like you're just like saying everything that's in my head. It's like you're asking.
But you've been there. It's like, I want to go home. You want to be out here like with, government money. It's just a whole different lifestyle. And they're happy to have that lifestyle because it keeps them out of the house with a built-in excuse to not have to interact with, it's like a whole thing.
Yeah. So that is the world we left behind, and there people ended the lesson on being, you need to be yourself. You need to be unashamedly, warts and all, yourself. Yeah. I've just actually written those exact words in my sales funnel process because I am sick to death of people hiding their light under a bushel. Because that's what they do. It's like, I cannot be this, I cannot be opinionated. I'm like, yes, you can. You just don't need to offend people.
Yeah. Step into the light. Step into the light.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, I loved your Instagram post again. How I stalk you and all that. So your Instagram post about, was it something about a joke, like my sense of humor? I'm sorry if my sense of humor offends you or something, but actually I don't really care.
I mean, you're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, love that. Absolutely love that. What bad. Nice. I'm going to give you props for that, actually. Yeah, but and that it's that kind of thing that demonstrates your personality, but through your brand voice. Yeah. Right. So you're being personal. You've got your brand message on there, but they all kind of mingle.
Yep. For sure. And I'm not the kind of person that is going to throw the F-bomb all over social media and all that kind of stuff. I say it all the time. I don't mind saying it. But for me, there's a point at where it's a little too much.
Yeah.
So I like to you know, I like to let people know, like, don't be surprised if you hear me say that, but I'm also not the person that's going to be F-bombing every other word and putting it all over my Instagram and whatever. I'm just not, because that's not me. Like,
Well, I must admit, my language is color. My language is colourful, and I do like the word crap, but I don't
yeah,
like put it on. Well, I'd like to think that I don't use that strong language on everything that I do.
right,
There's elements of it, and it can be a bit colourful sometimes. But like you said, I think even when I was writing my first email in the funnel today, that's exactly what I said. Look, sometimes there's going to be colourful language. I'm not going to apologise for it. Please don't write
right,
in. Just feel free to unsubscribe.
right,
That's okay. We will shake hands. Thanks very much for your company for a short time, and be on your merry way. And that's okay. But you're right. I would like to think that I know, as I say, I swear a bit on here and whatever. But I don't like slap it across Facebook or like Instagram or any of my posts all the time. There's just a
right.
little injection of personality.
Right, exactly. Enough to let people know I have a little sass and I have a little edge and I, you know, whatever. And the phrase that I'm stepping into this year is no bullshit. I'm totally fine with saying bullshit or no bullshit,
Yeah.
more to because that is what my year is about just cutting out all the stuff that I've learned that I don't need to deal with the first year that I was in business. So totally okay with me. And that's kind of woven in, you know, what I have out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
And that's why we follow you. That's why we follow you. That's why we're friends.
Yeah. Well, should we cut out a little early?
Yeah, I think so. Wrap it up. Cool.
We can do that.
Thank you for wearing your wig. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Just one more time.
I want that pot of gold. It's shining. And look, I've nearly finished Guinness the whole time we've been on.
Nice.
So.
I finished my gigantic mug of coffee probably 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. So you're ready. You're ready for the day, Cara.
Ready. Super ready.
Listen, I'll keep you posted about our clocks changing.
Yes.
And then I'll reschedule the next lab because I don't know whether I think it's the end of the month, but I'll do the next one.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in or is watching later. Catherine, as always, thank you for your participation and support and good vibes. We love your vibes. Thank you, Mama.
Yep.
And we'll talk to everybody later. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Where's my mouse? I can't even see my mouse. There it is.